Thank you, Boyka, and thank you, MLG, and thank you to the audience for allowing me to share a brief overview of Reflex and to share with you some of our case studies with reference to road safety innovation from around the world. I'll start with a brief history. I won't go through the whole timeline, we must be here all day, but I'll start with some very early achievements and accomplishments. So Reflex has been around now for coming up to 25 years in road safety, and we started in 1996 with the introduction of the first single point processing center for digital images, which we introduced. In 1998, we introduced the world's first digital enforcement system, which was installed in the USA. And just skipping from some of the early accomplishments to some of the later ones, which we'll focus on in the case studies. In 2013 and 2014, we were engaged with the Highways Agency in the UK for the design and the installation of the HADEX3 system for smart motorways. Now this was the HADEX3, so HADEX itself stands for the Highways Agency Digital Enforcement Compliance System. There were two earlier phases which started from 2006, and we were successful in bidding and securing the contracts which we're now in the implementation stages of. In 2014, we also came up with an innovative solution in the USA for the protection of students getting on and off of buses, and I have a few slides on that later as well, which I can share with you. Coming up to modern day, we're a very innovative company. We have resources in research and development, looking for new technologies and pushing forward areas of road safety. And we're working at the moment in the UK with Highways England for looking at new technologies around close following, worker guardian, which is the safety of workers in the road when they're carrying out roadworks. And also in the future looking at distracted driving technologies and looking at technologies for seatbelt enforcement. So Reflex at a glance, 556 staff worldwide, that was last count. We have a headquarters in Melbourne, Australia. Our business is primarily road safety solutions and traffic management solutions. That isn't just the supply of equipment, it's a complete turnkey solution package. We manufacture, we design, we manufacture, we install, we commission, we maintain, and beyond that we actually provide the back office systems to take the offence details from the systems and process them. So it really is a turnkey solution from start to finish, should that be required. We have offices all over the world, so we truly are an international company. We have offices in Phoenix, Los Angeles in the USA. We have offices in Vancouver in Canada, offices in the United Kingdom, in Ireland, in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia. In Asia, we have offices in Malaysia, and obviously the head office being in Melbourne, Australia, but we also have offices in Sydney and in Darwin. So just to put that pictorially, so you can see we have 3 regions within Reflex, so we have 3 divisions. We have the USA division, which covers the United States and Canada, with offices in Vancouver, Phoenix, and in Vancouver and Phoenix. And then we have the EMEA hub, which I work for in London, and out of an office in Southampton. And we cover the Europe sectors. We cover the Middle East and parts of Africa as well, and then we have Asia Pacific, and so mainly covering sort of Australia, Asia, and areas of South Africa. Our main distributors are usually in the European area, and we have distributors in Belgium, in Poland, and of course we have our long-standing partnership with MRG here in the Balkans. So to quickly go through some case studies with you, I mentioned earlier the HADEX system, the smart motorway system that we have in the UK. So it's a Highways England contract. It stands for Highways Agency Digital Enforcement Compliance System, and it is used for speed enforcement for smart and managed motorways. it is HOTA approved. It's a very long process. It took us about 2 years to get it from start to finish. So it was a very long design and authorisation process in the UK. The managed motorway schemes in the UK are used to increase motorway capacity, reduce congestion, smooth traffic flows, provide more reliable journey times, increase and improve the quality of information to the driver, but primarily to maintain and, where possible, improve current safety standards. Since we started deploying the systems in 2016, we have over 110 systems deployed, but we still have another 6 years of the contract to run. So there's a real opportunity to install many more systems throughout the UK. There are two types of systems. They work on different signs. We have live systems, but we also have false or mock systems that we install. The pictures there, you see the top picture. That's the enforcement camera system and the flash system that goes with it that sits on the gantry. And underneath that, you'll see a picture of the EAV cameras. Now, these are the optical character recognition cameras that are looking at the gantry. And I'll explain that now in a little bit more detail. Legislation is just changing in the UK. We're going to be enforcing lane closure and red X enforcement as well. But Highways England are also looking at close following, worker guarding and other technologies to deploy on this platform in the future. So just to take you through this very quickly, you can see here we have a gantry with 4 AMI signs. We have 3 optical character recognition cameras, which are indicated in red here, and you have the enforcement camera in yellow. There is no link between the signs and the camera systems. So what happens is that the EAV cameras are actually looking at those signs, which are normally blank, and they're normally enforcing at 70 miles an hour, which is the national speed limit. If an operator decides that the speed limit on the motorway needs to change, they update the signs with the new speed limit that's required, and the cameras, which are indicated in red, pick up that change and transmit that new speed limit to the enforcement camera. And that enforcement camera captures every single vehicle across up to 6 lanes on the motorway. It identifies the speed and the length of that vehicle, and if a vehicle is actually travelling over the threshold that has been set, it actually records an offence package for that vehicle. And just to really reiterate the complexity of the system, it's not only looking at the signs and the speeds. It has to decide and determine whether or not the speeds are legal. So in the UK, every single sign has to be the same speed set on the sign. The red ring around the sign has to be complete and of a certain brightness. If there's a break in the LEDs on that ring, the system must be able to tell whether or not it's broken or not, whether or not the signs are actually showing a complete set of signs that can be enforced. So as an example, in the first one here on the top row, you'll see that there's a 40 mile an hour and 350 mile an hour signs. This cannot be enforced by the system, and therefore it reverts back to the national speed limit, which in this case would be 70 miles an hour. And you can see the one underneath in the second row. There's no red ring around that second sign, so that is not enforceable either. So again, it's a set of signs that cannot be enforced. The system needs to recognise that, and it needs to tell the system that it needs to remain enforcing at 70 miles an hour. Third row, completely legal set of signs. The red rings are good, the speeds are set correctly, so it can enforce at 50 miles an hour. And then the final example, just to pick up on the fact that we're having red X legislation coming through. You know, it needs to be able to recognise that there is a red X set on the first sign, the other 2 are set at 60, and there's a left arrow, and that it can then enforce at 50 miles an hour. So there's a lot going on with the system, a very complex system. So in summary, just to summarise sort of HALEX 3, the system is an integral part of Highways England's Smart Motorways programme, and since it was introduced in 2006, the journey reliability on these systems has improved by 22%. Personal injury accidents have reduced by more than a half, and where accidents did occur, severity was much lower, with 0 fatalities and fewer seriously injured. Therefore, the programme will continue for another 6 years, and Highways England will obviously look to maintain and not improve those benefits. So I'm going to briefly go through some case studies for radar cam. Now this is a system that is already deployed via MRG in the Balkans, but it's being used through several countries around the world. It's a mobile speed enforcement solution, a variety of different methods for installation in vehicle, tripod, container, dual radar technology, high resolution camera, currently in operation in the Balkans with our distributor MRG, the US, Australia, Ireland and Belgium. So, quickly taking you through sort of a couple of examples. GoSafe Consortium in Ireland, outsourced program since 2010, replacement program 2017, so it's just started. We have 55 vehicles deployed through 15 depots across Ireland, enforcing 9,000 hours per month, and it's a 6-year program. And you can see a nice picture of the vans at the bottom there. Secure Road in Belgium, they're our distributor in Belgium. We have mobile and fixed system contracts in Belgium. Currently have 60 units deployed with a further call-off for another 3 years, so we expect to see that raise considerably. Various configurations, tripod, vehicle you'll see there with a bumper mount, nice picture of the bumper mount option there. Fixed systems, probably the most controversial because they're able to install systems covertly and overtly, is the container option where they have it deployed in rubbish bins, in wheelie bins, and they can wheel that out on the street and yes, catch the public unawares. And finally on the radar cam, the New South Wales Roads and Maritime Services contract, again operating since 2010 with a replacement program which has just started. We have 45 vehicles there and a back office, so actually similarly to GoSafe, this is an end-to-end solution. We have the vans on the street, we're collecting the offences, we're bringing them back to the back office system, and we're actually sending out the notice of intended prosecution. These vans in New South Wales, 7,000 enforcement hours a month, 6-year service program, and since they were introduced, a 19% reduction in fatalities throughout New South Wales since the program was introduced. And just to put that in perspective, that's 84 lives saved, and an estimated community saving of around 490 million Australian dollars for the state. A final case study, slightly different, is our student guardian solution, which I did mention earlier in the timeline. So it's an automated photo enforcement system for monitoring and deterring drivers who illegally pass school buses. So in the States, if a bus stops to let children off the bus, a school bus, the red arm goes out, the stop sign, and vehicles are not allowed to pass the bus. They need to give the children time to exit or get onto the bus and before the arm goes in. So it safeguards and protects the students getting on and off the bus. Cameras instantly capture a variety of data to effectively evaluate incidents and determine whether violations have occurred. We have this solution installed in 20 cities in the US and in total over 400 systems installed. And just to give you an indication of how it might look and how it might work, so you see here that as a bus is passed, there's a radar on the side of the bus. As soon as that stop arm goes out, the radar is activated and it's monitoring a zone. If a vehicle, once that arm is out, enters that zone, an offence package is actually created and retained within the bus and sent on to the back office system. And just to give you an idea of the kind of information that it's collecting, and I've given you 2 examples here in both directions. It captures an A scene and then a B scene and a license plate scene. So the A and B are just to verify that the vehicle has entered the zone and the vehicle is moving. And obviously the C scene, the license plate scene, is for capturing that license plate's details so that they can afford the relevant prosecution. So that's a very brief talk through the Reflex and a few of our innovative road safety solutions worldwide. I'll hand back to MRG now to give some more local case studies of systems that are deployed more locally. Thank you.